going to go through a little bit of the anchoring process. The anchoring that I use is a buoy. The puller is a buoy and a hoop. It's easy to do. I'll try to go over some safety issues with it and how the anchor is rigged.
Right? That fish would have to have a corner to meet.
Fishing halibut, anchoring is a really effective way to get on the fish and stay on them. Set out a chum bag, anything you want the fish to come to you. I'm going to go through a little bit of the anchoring process. The anchoring that I use is a buoy. The puller is a buoy and a hoop. It's easy to do. I'll try to go over some safety issues with it and how the anchor is rigged. But I'll show you how it's deployed. I'll show you how it's pulled up and how I kind of like to run it. And one, you can stay on the fish easy. Two, you're not burning gas, back trolling, and everything else. But there's also a safety factor with doing it, because if you get it caught in the prop, your rope caught in the prop, you could lose your anchor. If you're in swift current, it can actually turn your boat around backwards and pull you down. So it's something that's very useful technique, but it can also be very dangerous if you do it wrong. So we'll go over a little bit of it, and hopefully you like it. Hopefully you get something out of it. All right, here we go. We're going to go to the bow, and I'll show you a little more about the anchor. Okay, I rigged my anchor up to breakaway. There's a couple zip ties in here, and there's some duct tape on this. So if I get my anchor wedged in the rocks, if I just get the boat and start pulling on it hard, it's going to snap this duct tape and this, and then so it pulls the opposite direction and will pull your anchor out of the rocks. But you want it to be able to grab and hold you while you're fishing, so you bring it this way and hook it here. So when this breaks away, it will pull the anchor out backwards. The pulling device I have is nothing but a stainless steel 6-inch ring. And I have a 22-pound anchor for this boat and 30-foot of chain. And what this does is when I get going, I throw the buoy in, and the friction of the water drags on the buoy, forcing this down until it jumps over, and then it will hold like this, floating, and it will hold your anchor. So then when you pull in your rope, all you're doing is pulling in the slack. So when deploying this, I always hang on to this and then let everything slide through. And I'll show you that. I got real close to 500 feet of rope. We're going to be fishing at about 220, 230 feet of water here. Tide's going out, so I'm going to get us resituated and drop it in and try to get us on the fish back here by this hump. But I'll deploy that in just a second. I'm going to go check the Garmin GPS and make sure I'm where I want to be, and we're going to try to set this down and get us on some fish. I don't throw my buoy out at first. I always keep it tied up. Alright, there it hit bottom. You can see it slowed down. I'm just going to get rid of a bunch of this rope so it'll give us a good scope and let our anchor dig and hold. Okay. Always make on your anchor, always make one circle, around your cleat, one full circle. And then just zigzag it a little bit. 1/2 hitch will hold it. 2 is just for a little bit of security. And if you look over here, you can see our line going out there, our rope. And the wind's pushing us a little bit this way. We're going to end up drifting that way. and you want to make sure you're tight on your anchor rope before you go setting your gear, because a lot of guys get all impatient and they want to throw their gear out and they're not drifted tight on their anchor rope, and they throw their halibut gear in, and then everybody gets caught on the anchor rope, and it's a pain in the butt. It's you lose a lot of gear, and it's just wastes a bunch of your time. So wait until your anchor rope comes tight and then deploy your gear, and hopefully this will put us right back up on that bait ball. If it doesn't, then we'll drag the anchor a little bit, try to reset and get on the fish.
Could probably threw a big hook into that bad boy. Use him as bait.
We're gonna move here pretty soon. We're gonna go looking for a big one. I've just been waiting for this tide to, huh? If you catch one more, you gotta catch one more. If I move, I'll drop you off. Or I'll get you at least close and you can jump.
As soon as you catch one.
Well, we've been here about an hour and haven't really had any action, so I want to move, so we got to get this anchor up before we move. I take this clown ball in my ring and get it over the side, and I'm going to fire up the boat, and I'm going to make a little bit of a left turn here, get around my rope, and I'll be able to, I always like to watch it out my driver's side window so I can see it. So I'll make a small circle. If I can't get away from my rope to where I think I'm going to cut it off with my prop, then I'll just make a tight circle around the rope, nice white, a circle around it, and then I'll start taking it off in a direction where my rope's not going to come in contact with my props. So that ring is going to slide, the friction of the water is going to cause drag on that buoy, and then that ring is going to go all the way to the end and hang on to our anchor. Here we go. We'll go fire up the boat and pull our anchor. So I can see my buoy here. I just jockey around and I'm trying to get the rope off to the side. And the buoy will start dragging in the water.
Like every engine I've ever bought for the company or anything. So I mean, I look at that and I go, $25,000
So as you can see, the buoy's getting just a little bit farther away from the boat. I know it's coming. It still hasn't popped it off. It's gonna get close to the chain, and I'm gonna see more drag on the buoy, and then I'm gonna gun it a little bit with a little bit of throttle, and you'll see the buoy actually bounce a couple times. Like right now, it's dragging. When I throttle down, it's gonna take a bump. There's it's starting to hop, bounce on the end, it's on the chain. There it is, still bouncing. There. Now I know it's on the. Now I know once it does that couple quick little pops, it's cleared the chain and now it's on the anchor. So all I gotta do is turn around, make a wide circle coming back to my buoy, and then all I've gotta do is retrieve rope with no weight. See how the buoy's sitting heavy in the water? It's holding, if you see it bouncing again, that means your anchor is sinking. But right now it's just super heavy in the water. And it's holding. So I've kind of made a loop coming back, and so all I've got to do is retrieve the slack and pile it up in the anchor locker. Okay, so if you see up here, you can look in the water. The hoop, it's coming by here, coming on your side. The hoop is actually holding on the anchor right now.
The chain's hanging down low. So if you look out there, it's hung right in there on that hoop. So it's holding on the anchor. And that's pulling an anchor with a buoy and a ring device. Super easy, just don't run over your rope. That's it.